All right, we're going to do a quick run through on how to install Blockbench to get started here. So I'm at blockbench.net. Click download. I have a Windows machine. All right, there we go. We have Blockbench. So let's get started. Let's create a new entity. So what we're going to do is under this quick setup, we're going to select modded entity. Create new model. Let's call him Bob. And then for the model identifier, we'll also call him Bob. And the rest we can leave as is. If you want to increase the texture, you can. So, but I left this default. All right, so here we have the Blockbench plane to create a new character. North is the direction that is the forward face, so they'll be facing this direction. All right, so what you want to do is create groups, so and name them. So, and you do not want to create nested groups like this because that will cause a problem. So we'll call that head. Body. Okay, like I said, do not have these nested. So do not have it like this, or MCreator will and Minecraft will give an error. So you want a flat folder structure. Okay, once you're in here, you're going to add a cube. So let's start with the leg. The left leg will be on your right because you're facing forward. So we're going to put it over there. We're going to scale it up. Copy that and put it on the right side. Then we're going to make the body. So when building, I just kind of build from the bottom up. And you can use keyboard shortcuts. Those make it faster. All right, for the left arm. For moving, it's V. Copy that, put it on for the right arm. And then add the head. And there we go, we have Bob. So let's, we were in edit mode here. So what you want to do is then go, if you want to paint him, you can go to paint the creature, you can go to paint. You're going to want to add a texture. So we're going to hit create texture, and I'm going to do it high resolution texture, higher, not super high. And you want to name it. So we're going to call it Bob texture. Okay, and then you go and paint like you normally do in Blockbench. I'm going to start with just the front face. And you know what? I'm going to leave the colors intact so you can see the different faces when he's moving around. Okay, so let's just paint some features on the fellow. Okay, so very simple. There you go. All right, so there he's painted. And so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to animate him. So you'll click animate, and then you'll click add. We're going to do an idle animation, so just call it idle. And it will loop. So all the rest you can leave blank unless you want to change some of these things. But when you go to animate him, you want to make sure that you set the pivot points correctly for the animations. So I did this wrong a moment ago, so I'm going to show you how to set it correctly. So just click click the element that you'd like to set a pivot point for, the left leg, then hit the tool or hit P, and then you want to put the pivot point in a specific location, and that's where it will rotate. So for the leg up top seems to make a good choice. Is a good choice. Oops. So the left leg will be here. I'll move it to the top of the left leg, like so. And then we could do the same thing for the right leg. Move it up, over. Then same thing for the left arm. Just remember, since you're looking at the forward face, the directions are backwards. Body, I like putting it in the center of the body, and then the head. I normally put it, I mean, the center of the head works too, but I just put it at the base for now. Okay, so then there you go. You have all the pivot points, and now if you were going to rotate it will rotate. But before you can do that, you got to set up an animation. So let me show you. So once you're ready to animate something, if you click on the arm, now it'll pivot at that around the point that you set right there. So similarly for the body, if I want to pivot the body, now it's going to pivot at the middle, not at the bottom or top, right? Same thing for scale. Scale is going to scale both sides here. Where here, scale will scale the bottom, right? Because the pivot point's up top. All right. So that's a little bit primer about the pivot points. There you go. All right. So there he's painted. And so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to animate him. So you'll click animate, and then you'll click add. we're going to do an idle animation. So just call it idle. And it will loop. So all the rest you can leave blank unless you want to change some of these things. And then you're going to have keyframes. So I'm going to click on the head, and it's going to start, the position is going to start there. So I'm going to click plus for the position. That's the starting position. And then here, I'm going to move the head up a little bit. And then at 1 second, it's going to move back down. So very simple. His head's just going to be bobbing up and down. And so if you hit play, and that's his idle animation. Okay. And then we're going to make another animation for walking. Again, we're going to loop this animation, confirm. And now we're going to want to do the feet movement. All right, so we set this initial keyframe for the left leg. So let's come up to half a second. We'll rotate the left leg up 45 degrees. Then we'll come back to 1 and we'll rotate it back to 0. So that should gives you half the animation. Okay. So then for the second half, we're going to rotate back down to we're going to rotate negative 45. Okay. And then you can copy this keyframe and bring it back to 0. All right. So now the whole walking animation looks like this. Now that's a little slow. So what you can do is compress it. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to shift all these back. Kind of speed that up a bit. Let's see. This sets the loop, how long it loops for, so you can change that. Okay, that's not bad. All right. So then for the right leg, we're going to do that in reverse order. So click on the right leg, and I'm pretty sure you can copy these keyframes to set the position. So I'm going to set the position for the right leg there, and I copied these keyframes, so I'm going to move this over to there, and then I'm going to hit Control V. Oops. Yeah, that should have been. Boom. So it was in position. So when that one's there, we want the right leg to be back, right? Then it can come back to here. And we're going to take this one. All right, so then the animation looks like some swinging legs. And let's swing the arms too, just for completeness sake. And I think I can just copy and paste all this here. So let's grab that. Boom. paste it to the right arm because your arms usually swing in opposite directions. Let's see. Very cool. And I'm going to copy and paste the other side. All right, there it goes. Yay. All right, so now we have an idle animation and a walking animation. So we're going to want to save this. So let's save the project, file, save project. So there, Bob model. So I saved it. The next thing you want to do is you're going to want to export it. You're going to want to export it as a Java entity. So Bob, that's fine. And then you're going to want to export the animations you made. Export animations. You can have both selected, hit confirm. And here, call it bob.animation.java. Okay, great. And then the last thing you need to get is your texture. So come back to the texture here. So I click paint, went to the texture, hit save, and then Bob texture. And that is what all you need to do. The next step will be importing it into Minecraft or MCreator.